I'm going to be sharing with you a sad story with a powerful message for every brewer and, to be honest, every business owner. It's sad because it's a story of failure and regret. Before I dive in, let me introduce myself. My name's Trip. I share content about advertising and marketing to help brewers and other business owners better understand how to grow their businesses in this ever-changing, ever more difficult environment. This story is about a guy named Charlie, son of immigrants, who had a multi-million-dollar business and lost it all. Charlie worked as a used car salesman when we first met. Over the decades, he worked hard, had many successes, achieved the American dream. He owned his own business. In fact, he owned a new car franchise. For context, this story happened in the mid 1990s. If you're unaware, it takes a huge investment to own a new car dealership, and you must commit to massive amounts of cash going forward just to be considered to have the opportunity to buy a new car dealership. As I mentioned, I've known Charlie for years, and he told me, Trip, I want you to do my advertising. Worked out well because I was looking to add a client, and I was excited to work with Charlie, someone who I liked, considered a friend, still do to this day. Newspapers, especially in Charlie's market, were powerful advertising outlets for car sales. As Charlie neared his opening, I was working on a newspaper ad for him. Now, Charlie's surrounded by competing dealerships, even dealerships selling the exact same type of new cars. So I wanted to find something that made Charlie and his dealership unique. It seemed that all of Charlie's competitors were owned by the big multi-dealership owners. Ownership groups with lots of dealerships and people who don't even live in Charlie's market. These owners, the people own these competitors to Charlie, their stories were different than Charlie. And Charlie could offer customers a different option. Here's a bonus lesson. Do you offer something different to your customers? If not, why not? You want special results from your business. We all do. So why expect something special if there's not anything special? Do you have questions about where and how to advertise? I'm putting the finishing touches on my advertising guide for brewers and smaller brick and mortar businesses. I'll send it to you for free. Just comment below, please, and I'll send it your way. Getting back to Charlie and his story. So I wrote an Advertorial, which is a newspaper ad that looks like a newspaper story. I'm sure you've seen them. There are rules you need to follow, but advertorials are a fantastic way to attract customer interest. In this advertorial, I highlighted key elements like Charlie's story. Remember, he's a son of immigrants. He's someone who worked his way up through the industry, not a rich investor. And unlike his competitors, Charlie's dealership allowed customers to speak with the owner. No local dealer offered this. In other words, he was the anti-dealership. He's different and offers benefits you can only find at his dealership. Let's pause here for a moment and think about this. I highlighted things that made Charlie different and special, that should make him appealing to some of the people in his market. Charlie the minnow is swimming with these sharks, his competitors. It's a David versus Goliath story. And listen, nobody roots for Goliath, right? Shopping at Charlie's dealership allowed you to do business with a neighbor. He lived 5 minutes from his dealership. Charlie can offer you the exact pricing as the other dealerships. In essence, they all pay the same price for a new car. And if something does go wrong, the owner is at the dealership. And Charlie was not about to have his good name, his reputation sullied by a problem with the car he had sold to a neighbor. So you can buy from Charlie with the utmost confidence. We stated in the advertorial to go ahead, get a price from another dealership if you want. But Charlie's offering the best prices, and you'll be able to look the owner in the eye and know he's there if you need him. Something that made him so different and unique from all of his competitors. In the lead into this advertorial, I highlighted how he was a real bootstrapper. From the ground up, he built this business. We ran the ad twice, and as a new business owner, at the same time these ads were running, he was being inundated by local media salespeople bombarding him all day long with marketing advice and experience. Does that sound familiar? I bet it does. These folks were telling him his messages were wrong, and the solution was to advertise with them. Surprise! Listen, I get it. Charlie had a massive amount of money at stake, and Charlie quickly wanted to change course. He wanted newspaper ads with things like, amazing sales event, hurry down. In other words, He wanted to advertise like everybody else, including all the Goliaths around him. He decided not to amplify and not to push what made him special. As I stated, we're friends. So he asked me my opinion. I explained my thoughts and told him he was a minnow and that it would be difficult to act like a shark when you're just a minnow. And by minnow, I meant he didn't have the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars behind his business like all his competitors did. I explained that it would be foolish to try and outspend people who had so much more money. It didn't take long for me to see that Charlie was going to go in a different direction. Charlie knew that I had massive dealership accounts in other markets. In fact, I was working with some of the biggest car dealers in the country, and I had generated tens of millions of dollars in sales for them. Some of those places Charlie actually had worked earlier. That's how we originally met. We parted ways as an ad agency and a client, and I hope for the best for Charlie. I admire and like Charlie and feel that way to this day. By the way, Charlie's amazing at what he does, and he's a good and fine man, and we're still friends today, and I value his friendship. After parting ways, I continue to check in with Charlie from time to time, like a friend might, but it was less frequent because I started to feel like Charlie was wondering if my calls were motivated by me looking for work, which they weren't. In fact, I was building another business and I was essentially working two jobs, my agency and my new endeavor. I'm guessing you're seeing where this sad story is going. It took a while and cost him a lot of money and a marriage, and it was an enormously sad story, especially when it's someone you truly like I did, Charlie and his wife. Charlie had to pull the plug on the dealership and step away. Now, here's the learning part of the story, and it's a twist. A few years passed since Charlie closed the dealership, and he was back to being a used car guy, and he was at an auction trying to buy a car to resell. Somehow, a guy near him at the auction heard his name, and he asked, "Are you the Charlie from?" And he names Charlie's dealership. Charlie said, "Yeah, I used to own that dealership." And the guy gets excited. He opens a portion of his work folder and pulls out a tattered version of the Advertorial I had written a couple of years ago now that Charlie used when he first opened the dealership. The guy tells him how great his story was and how much he liked the ad. As a friend, Charlie shared this story with me. He felt like he had made a mistake moving away from my recommendations. After thinking about it, he realized I knew a lot about the industry and had his best interests at heart. Listen, I don't share this story or any part of it with any happiness. I had been really reluctant to share this story with you here because it's not something that I'm looking to bow about. No, it's a story I decided to share because of the similarities to what brewers and many other small businesses are facing today. It's a story that can help a minnow try and swim with the sharks. As a brewer today or any small business owner, you need to tell your story. Who are you? Your story is unique and special. Why did you open up your business? Tell people. What struggles or obstacles have you overcome to get where you are now? Tell folks. What makes you special, different, even unique? Share with people. Be authentic. Be vulnerable if that's genuine. Be sincere and clear about your story, why you opened up your business, the path you traveled to get there, and what you do and what motivated you to enter and start this journey. Never lose sight of the fact that the reason you opened your business is a great story and a story that should be shared. I'm here with this channel and with this story to help the Davids beat the Goliaths. I hope Charlie's story helps some of you realize how you can differentiate and make your business special in the eyes of the people who should be your customers. At the end of the day, isn't that what your advertising should do? That's the lens through which you should do things, not the same things that others are doing, the same old tired things that aren't working now and you're hoping and praying that they'll work later. That's the purpose of my channel. If this story resonates with you at all, give me a follow. Hopefully my experiences can help you achieve your goals.